So we will start now, and there's a lot to cover today. Means I didn't saw that you have to do this your async also, and after that we're going to start ES6 also. ES6 is a bit large. Okay, so let's get started and all. Okay, and okay, again, so first thing is that we are going to do the, okay, so let me share my screen. Actually, I'm not sharing again. So what we are going to do, we are going to learn about as I told, we are going to learn about Async JavaScript first, and then after that we are going to jump into ES6, because tomorrow is the last day and we have to complete the ES6 before that. Okay, so Async JavaScript is what? By default, JavaScript is a single-threaded language. So single-threaded language, it is not like Java, which is a multi-threaded language. Those who know Java, it's a multi-threaded language. It is one of the most powerful language in the world when it comes to taking load, and that's why it is still the king in the backend. But king in the backend only for big people. Okay, so until a website or a web app, means a web app, reach Flipkart level, nobody uses Java. Everybody uses Node.js only. So today, whatever we are going to learn, a bit of it is a backend programming also, because these promises and all, they're mainly done in the backend. Although the front end processes it. So we're going to learn about promises and all. So a lot of people were asking yesterday, means when you are going to learn about promises and all those things. Okay, so we're going to learn today about those promises and all those things. And let's get started now. Okay, and so I'm going to have this JSBin again. So in the JSBin, so this is what is known as asynchronous programming also, asynchronous programming. So it is there, and okay, so JavaScript and console. We will not open JavaScript and console, we will open JavaScript and output. So what is this output? This output is the, what is the output? It will show this is the output. Okay, so with this async, why we need async first? So let us understand that. Okay, async JS, why didn't it? So we need async to do the API calls and all. What are APIs? APIs are those things which are made in the backend, like the famous API endpoint is this JSON placeholder which is there. So like this, you go to this JSON placeholder. So this is an API endpoint, which is not a website. You hit it and you get this data back. This is how the internet works and all. And we are going to hit this API endpoint soon. We're going to hit this API endpoint soon, towards another, maybe another half an hour. We're going to see how to hit this API endpoint, and that is one of the most important piece of code for a front-end developer. Either he or she is a JavaScript developer, they're going to work in vanilla JavaScript, or they're going to work in React or React. Okay, so that is the most important piece of code which you're going to learn today. Okay, because most of the time the front-end developer work is like integrating the API endpoints with the front end. This all things will be made by the back-end developer. Okay, so that is there, but we are going to mimic this thing. So for mimicking this thing, what we are going to have first, we're going to see what is this async JavaScript. Okay, so I have this const post equal to, like this, we're going to have this, and we'll have a title of JS Basics and comma summary. Okay, I don't want to auto run it, so I'll deduct it. So summary, and then this post contains the basics of JS and comma C, and we have this DOM basics. This post contains the basics of DOM, and this is there, and then we will have a function. So we are going to mimic the API endpoint. See, whenever you hit the API endpoint from the front end and all, so what it takes around 1 or 2 seconds, one second at least. So that is something which we are going to do. Okay, and please do like and subscribe. If you just came, please like and subscribe. A lot of people are saying it. Could you please zoom? At what level I am? 150 is way too much. You want me to zoom more? But zoom more, I will not able to see, because even that is at, let me see. I think I'm at a good zoom level for, maybe not for a mobile. 1 sec. Let me see it on my mobile only. For mobile also, mobile you tilt it like this. Okay, tilt it like this, you will see it nice, because 150 means I never go beyond this 150 things. Okay, desktop I am able to see much better. more than this I will not able to type more. Okay, this is actually a very big zoom level. 175 is way too much, not able to type much. So take your mobile and not, I think for desktop it is perfect. Okay, desktop or laptop, but you can tilt it and see it. Okay, and next thing which I'm going to have is a function. A function I'm going to have, and it is a get post is there. Function get post is there. So this is not a normal function. So this function will have something known as set timeout. Set timeout. Set timeout, because as I told, we hit the API endpoint. It takes around 1 second. It takes around 1 second. So with this set timeout, we are going to mimic that. Okay. It will make it around means like this. I'm going to make it, and set timeout is a JavaScript function which runs after whatever the time you give it. Okay, so I will give 1000 means it is 1000 millisecond. 1000 millisecond means it will run after 1 second. Inside it, what I'm going to have, I'm going to have a let output equal to this, an empty output I'm going to take, and I'm going to explain what it is. Then I'm going to have this post array and dot for each. I've already told what for each is for each, and post and output plus equal to, I'll have a h4 and dollar post dot title, and h4 will end here, and p and dollar post dot summary, and the p will also end here. And what I just did is this. See this, there is an output which is empty, that I have looping through this post, and with the for each what I'm making, it will do 2 iteration, because this post is nothing, I can use anything, like it has got 2 objects, so it will iterate over it. Output is initially empty string, so it will make a post dot title, so JS basics will go, and this post contain the basics of JS will go. Again it will come out, and I will get this DOM basics, and this actually there will be a very big string will be formed. Let me show that string. Console dot log of output. I want to show this output. Okay, and I will run this function like get post I run. Okay, and run this, and then I'll do a console here only. Is maybe console here. Okay, then I will run it, and after 1 second it will come actually. But see, I get a very long string which is like a JS basics p and this. So this long string is I'm getting, which contains all these things. Now I want to show it. So how I will show it? Instead of this output, I'll do a document dot body dot inner HTML equal to output. I'll do. Okay, and then I will run it again, and now see this, both of this thing will be shown. Document.html.body. So body, in the body it will have this h4 and all. So this is how it will show. But this is not the main thing. This is the normal thing. Is it will show anyway. Now we'll have another post known as a create post. Okay. So we'll have a function, again a function as create post. It will take a parameter which can be anything, like it is a post parameter it is taking, and then after that I will have a set time out, and like this I'll have, and post dot push post dot push post. I'm pushing the post, but the thing is that this function I will run after 2 seconds. Like this is very important. This is running after 1 second. This is running after 2 seconds. Okay. So then after that I will have this create post. I'll have create post, and in this create post I will have this again one like this title and DOM basics, and it is like the sync basics. This post contains the basics of async. This post contains the basic of async. Okay, so that is there. Okay, so now what is there? So any program runs from top to down. So get post, it will come here in the get post, and it will run this get post, and then it will do this create post also. Okay, let us see how it will run. And this create post, but we are getting only two things. We are not getting this async basic, this post contain the basic of async. The reason for that is that, see, this program will run, it will come to this get post, and get post will be also running, and this create post, it will also come because it is running after 1 second. So both of these things it will run. But what will happen is get post will run early after 1 second. So those both of them thing goes in the memory kind of thing. This is the concept of event loop, and there is a very good video on the internet. You can search about event loop, you will get a video what the heck is a event loop. There is a very good video. So after means both of these things will put in the queue, but this thing will run after 1 second, this thing will run after 2 seconds. So after 1 second it will run. So it after 1 second it has got only these two things, it doesn't have got this third thing. And after 2 seconds the third thing will also be inserted, but we are not able to see because the DOM is already done at this time. So to solve these things, we have got actually three ways to solve this issue. One is the callback function, which is very old thing, which is from 1995. It is there. In 2015, something promises was introduced in JavaScript through ES6, and the promises have two ways to resolve. One is the then and catch block. We're going to see both, and other is the async await. We're going to see both of them. Okay, first we're going to see the callback. So how to do it through callback. Okay, so callback functions, how to do it that. So let us solve this through callback. So let me copy this and JSBin and output, and like this. Again, it will show. Okay, so I will first we're going to solve it through callback. Callback we're going to solve. So callbacks. So in callbacks, what will happen instead of means calling this get post like here, I'll not call the get post here. I'll call the get post here. Get post here. I'll call, and I'm calling it here, but I'm passing only a reference to it. Okay. So after this, I have a callback. So this callback can be anything. This is just the parameter. This can be anything. This can be like fn also. A lot of people take fn here, but I'll take a callback or any other name also you can take. Okay. So after that, what I'll do? I'll do a call back here like this. Call back here like this, and now I will run it. 1, 2. After 2 seconds, this will also come. So how did this came? This came. So again, it will run like this. Come to this create post, and create post is sending two parameters here. One is this post, which is this item, and another is this get post, which is a reference of a function. So what is happening inside this set timeout? It will go and post dot post after 2 seconds. It will run because I have not even called the get post. After 2 seconds, it will run this thing set timeout, and post dot post push post it will do. So this third post will be pushed here, and then after that the callback will run. Callback is nothing but in the runtime what will happen, it will change like this and it will change like this, and then this function will run. Now it has got three things, so it will show these three things. Okay, so that is there how it will run. So that is how the callback is run. This is the one way. But there is something known as callback hell. There was a lot of issue with this, and callback used to get complicated very soon. You just Google it, what is callback hell, you'll understand about it. So in 2015, the more modern way of promises was introduced. You'll see something, it's a bit difficult in the initially, but the main thing is that I will tell one thing. So this part of the code, one part of it is the front end code and one part of it is the back end code. And I always say, first master the front end. First learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, get a job. After that, go to Node.js and then enhance your portfolio. Get those big jobs. Okay. I know a person who got who after becoming a React.js developer, he started earning 6-7 lakh package he's got, and then he learned Node.js also, and then he started getting, he is in a job right now. He's a full stack developer, and he's getting around 11 lakh package. Okay, so he's just yet to be passed from the college, and he has got this offer because one thing is that nobody can give those much offer for intern. So interns are not allowed to have more than 25,000 salaries. Those who don't know, interns are not allowed to do jobs. Okay, those all jobs they get after it. Okay, so the next thing which I am going to do is like Async.js, and we are going to learn about, I don't know, right, like promises. Promises, we're going to do two things. One is the then and catch. There are two ways to do the promises, then and catch. In promises, what happens again, this part till this thing, it will be same, but we don't have any callback or something like this. So I will remove this callback. I'll remove this callback from here, and I will remove this callback from here because I don't have this callback and all. Then promises takes a different approach. So promises, what we will do, we'll wrap all these things in a promise. What is a promise? I'm going to come to that soon. So we have to return new promise, and resolve comma reject. Resolve comma reject I'll do, and like this. The promise is like this, and I'll put this inside the set timeout inside this promise. So what is a promise? Promise is something which is like promise in the real life. It either so as I told, promise is like promise in real life. It either sends a resolve or it sends a reject. Means in real life also, if you promise something, you either resolve it or you will reject it. You either do it, you either complete the promise or you will not complete the promise. Okay, so like this, I will lose weight, but I'll lose weight, for that I'll do exercise daily, or you'll do that promise, but you'll not do the exercise daily, or you'll do the exercise daily. That is something like this. So resolve reject is there. So promise, it is very important to send resolve reject. Okay, so I can directly send the resolve also from here, but I want to show the then and catch block. So we'll have some dummy content. So okay, one more thing is that till this part of the code is a Node.js code, Node.js kind of code. It's a backend code. This is actually the front end code. Okay, front end always gets some promise, and there are different way to resolve it. Okay, so this is general front end code. So in Node.js kind of a Node.js code, what happens when you resolve a promise, you will have some lot of code there, but right now we don't have that much code. So what we are going to do here, we're going to create some like dummy kind of a thing. So here I'm going to do a const num equal to 5, const num equal to 5 I'm going to do, and then num is greater than 4, then I'm going to have a resolve, and I'm going to have a reject, and it will be error, something is wrong, and so this is there. So in this case, the resolve will be sent. So 5 is greater than 4. So the resolve will be sent. It's a normal ternary operator. So when the resolve is sent, what happens in your promise? Whenever promise resolve is sent, we can either add a then or a catch. So then is there. So then is there, and so you have to go through this again. Okay. So dot then, this is not that much easy topic. Okay, so that goes, and this generally have to be a bit faster, or else JavaScript won't be over. Okay, so that is there, and this is a tough topic. Okay, JavaScript itself is a tough topic. So catch error, and we don't have time, and go through this again, you'll understand. I'm doing my best to explain actually, but further from this, it will take more classes and more personal touch. If you're not able to understand it, the thing is that you need more personal touch, and means it's not possible in a YouTube class to give that much personal touch. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get what is happening here. Okay, so create post. I'm doing this create post, and wait, this is wrong. Create post. So now again, let us understand how this will work now. So this create post, this will call this create post function, and create post function now have wrapped a promise. So promise will there, set timeout is there. Set timeout will run after 2 seconds. Okay, set timeout will run after 2 seconds. In this 2 seconds, it will do this. It will put this inside this post dot push post. It will put the third one. Okay, third one it will put. Okay, third one it will put. I cannot say what is the best resources. Just Google it. Means whatever JavaScript is if you're from non-IT background, it's tough. Okay, so it is not I cannot tell what is the best resources and all, because documents are never complete. So you have to learn from some YouTube channel only. So maybe they will have more JavaScript. You have to learn from there only. So async, such as async JavaScript, you'll get something. Okay. So we have to complete ES6 also after this. Okay. So this is there, and so this set timeout is there. Okay, so this post.push is done. Then as I told, I have a dummy kind of a thing. Okay, the num equal to 5. So 5 is greater than 4 is there. So this is true. So the resolve will be run. So the thing with then and catch block is that whenever a resolve, so it will return something. So it will return the resolve from here. So whenever a resolve is returned, it is cached by a then block. Okay, so this, whenever we add this dot then here, first this thing runs, then something return happens from here. So the return happens from here. So return is happening here. So then block is run if the resolve is coming, and I will get, then this get post will run. Now this get post will show all the posts. So when this get post will show all the posts, it will have the third one also. Okay, if I run it now, I will get the third one also. Okay, so that is how it works. Now if I get an error, so how I get an error, I will show the error thing also. Like this, I'll do a 4, and 4 is not greater than 4. It is wrong. So what will happen? 4 is not greater than 4. So I will run it now. Error, something is wrong is coming. Okay, because now the reject will be thrown, and whenever a reject is thrown, catch block activates. It is like whenever a resolve is thrown from here, the then block catches it. Whenever reject is thrown from here, the catch block catches it. So it is like that. So catch block is catch it, and I'm just doing the documented body in an HTML, and it is done. Okay, go through this code again. Means I'm going to give the JSBin, go through it again, write some console logs, and you're going to understand it. Okay, and it is like that. So now the next thing which we are going to do is, in 2018 there was another thing which was introduced, and that is like promises only is there, but it is known as async await. This is also very important. Async await thing was introduced. Async await. So in async await, actually this part will be like the same. The promises will be same. Again, someone came. Okay, so as one second. What first two statements are not shown in the output? I'm not getting. Sushma asked something. Why the first two statements are not shown in the output? Nothing will be shown in the output here. If I now the reject will be thrown here. So the get post was only running if the then block was executing. If the reject part is running, okay. Yeah, this payment daily comes. If the reject part is coming, reject part is thrown, then what happens? The error part, this catch block runs. Then block doesn't run. Whenever the resolve is thrown, like 4 is greater than 4 is not true. It is false. It's a false statement. I'm using a ternary operator here. So the reject error, something wrong will run. So whenever the reject is thrown here, then block doesn't execute at this moment. Catch block executes. So catch block is showing this thing. So that's why the no statement will be shown if the reject is thrown. But if I do this as 5, which is a true thing, okay, so then all these three things will be shown. Okay, but the then block is not even executed now. So why the first two statement will be shown? The then block is not executed. In the case of error, the then block will not even be executed. From the then block only we are getting this get post, and in the get post only there is a function which displays this to post. Nobody else is displaying the post. Only the get post function is only displaying this post. Okay, so if the get post itself is not running, so why the first two will be shown? First two won't be shown. Get post, for that the get post need to run. First two, all three, everything, for that the get post need to be run. Even in this thing, the get post is running, that only the first thing, the get post is running, then only these things are getting shown. Without the get post running, nothing will be shown. So here the get post will not even run in the case of an error. So why it will be shown? So it will not be shown. So we'll move forward. If I answered it, so async await, we are going to learn about async await. So this async await is having a bit different concept here. So what is the concept here in the async await? We know that is till this thing, everything will be same because the promise is there. But what we are going to do here, this first thing, we don't have a catch block and we won't have a done. Async await is much more newer format. It was introduced in 2018. Okay, so here we wrap everything in a function init, function init, and like this we'll have, and this create post will actually go inside it, and then after that we'll have a get post. Async await, we always need to have it inside a function. So get post will be there, and then I will have a init, and I'll call this init. But if I call it like this, means it is not async await. What will happen? It will only show these two things, because this create post and get post, both of them will run. And again, the create post is running after 2 seconds, and create post is running after 1 second. Create post is running after 2 seconds, and get post is running after 1 second. So this two will show. But to have that feature like that in the done and catch, what we need to do, this normal function, I'll make it as async, and this create post, whatever is doing this API call, and we want it result to come first, then only we want the get post to run. So I'll have a await here. I'll have a await here, and now I'll run. Okay, now I will run, but sometimes this JSBin doesn't run. Okay, so now I will get the third one also. So what it happens? So only this init function is there, but it has got a special async keyword. So to come here, and then it is await keyword. So await keyword, what it does, it tells that, okay, first let this be complete, then only run the next statement. So let this be complete, and this will run, and this will run, and this will put this thing in the post, and then after that the get post will run, and it will show the result. So this is like that. Okay, so that is done. But now we are going to see a very important example we are going to see, which is like the JSBin, which is like what the mainly the front-end developers works on. We're going to see that. Okay, we are going to see a async await fetch. So this is how actually the front-end developer will work. You can forget about all this code, you can forget about all this code, because most of the code here was for the backend developer. Okay, as I was telling, this much is for the backend developer. Only this much is for the front-end developer. This much is if you don't understand, just forget this code. But understand this code, because what I'm going to write right now, this is the most important thing for a front-end developer. Most important part of a code for a front-end developer. This 2-3 lines of code can get you a job, and this is what the front-end engineers do actually. This is the main task. So what front-end engineers do, actually I have already told what the front-end engineers do. So JSON placeholder, they get like this API endpoints from the backend engineer, and this will get the data from the some database, and we'll get the data like this. Nobody exposes database directly to the front-end engineers. This kind of things are done in mainly in Java or in Node.js also. Java and Node.js are the main language in which you do this thing. Okay, so that is there. So how to hit this endpoint? Actually, this endpoint returns a promise. So that's why a promise is very important to understand. This endpoint returns a promise. Now you cannot just directly copy paste this thing in the front end code, and it will give you this data back. It is showing in the browser, but you cannot get this data back like this. You need to use something known as, there is something known as a fetch API. Actually, you don't even have to know a bit more about the promises on, but this fetch API works on the promises. Fetch API works on promises on. So this fetch API is there, which is like the inbuilt in the browser. Through that, you hit some API endpoint and get the data. Earlier, we used to have something else and else for this, like jQuery or something. But from 2015, this fetch API is there, and it is in the browser. And let us see how to use this fetch API with Async Await. Okay, so there is a way to use this fetch API. So again, I will have a function fetch posts function I have. Right, and then the first thing is that, and fetch post, I have to call this function also, fetch post. I'll add a async in front of it. Async I will add in front of it, and now I want to hit this API endpoint and get the data back. Okay, so for that, come here, const res equal to await fetch. So this fetch keyword is there. In this, you have to give this API endpoint. So fetch keyword is there, which is inside this you have to give the API endpoint, and it also see it also, like here we were just doing some create post and all. No, but here everything is inbuilt. This fetch keyword you have to use and hit any API endpoint in the world, and you have to use the await in front of it because it returns a promise. It returns a promise. Okay, so that is there. Then after that, actually the fetch keyword is a two-part thing. Okay, fetch keyword is a two-part thing. What it does, it have got this const data. So I have to do await again. So it is a thing in this thing that I don't get it in one go. Res.json. This is the format of it because I have to do this again. Res.json. Now let me do a console.log of data. Let me see whether I get the data back. I'll open and inspect. I will do the console and I will close it and run with JS. I'll do and see I get the data back. This is a very big data. So this data all back in the front end side of the code, I get the data back, and as an array of object I get the data. Array of object, something like that also we mimicked, like this array of object. So array of object I got it back. And now this means actually this only this 3-4 lines of code is the most important code for a front end developer. Even if you're going to use React also, you'll use the same code. The vanilla JavaScript projects, we're going to do some JavaScript projects. In that also, you're going to do the same thing. Not today, means maybe I'm soon going to have some 10 JavaScript projects in 10 hours. I'm going to have when I'm good time. Next week, I think I'm planning to have. So that is there, and so this console.log data is there. Okay, so this is, after this we get the data. It is like in vanilla JavaScript we're going to show it in a different way. In React we are going to show it in a different way. That depends. So here in this vanilla JavaScript code, we are going to show it in this way. Okay, so this output is there. We are going to exactly use this code. We are going to copy this code and we're going to use it. I'm going to come here and let output, and there is no post. Actually this is the data. It is coming data.forage and post data. What we are getting here, one is the title and one is the body. So h4 is post the title is okay, but post there is no post the summary. So I have post the body and inner HTML output is there, and then I will have this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to see the whole of the data. We're going to see the whole of the data here. Okay. Okay. One more thing. Okay. So very good question. Okay. So actually, to do the API call, there are two ways. One is the async await fetch, and another is you can do this through then and catch also. This API thing, you can do it through then and catch also, but fetch API is like is a bit tough to do through then. Okay, then also you can do, but the way to do it, like maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll try. Okay. Actually, that's a very good question. So here, then fetch. then fetch will line. So there will be no function. Maybe I can have directly also. I don't need a function. I don't need a function here. So this then fetch I will return. So what will happen in this console.log and all console.log rest and okay. So then is a bit complicated. What happens with this then? I'm going to remove this thing. I'm going to remove this thing also. Okay. So here I have a dot then I will have this function like this. I think I will have this less dot json and then dot when. The concept is a bit tough here and what did we had here? Data. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it is like res is response.json and then the data will come here and console.log of data like this. So I will run with this. Light is showing like this. Sometimes it shows this whole thing and all. So with this then we are going to get it like this. Okay, so then we are going to do it like this. Okay, and this res.json and data console.log data. So instead of this console.log data we can have this like here we can have the same thing, and actually catch statement is optional. Catch statement is optional, so we don't need to catch a statement always, but I will add this thing now. I don't want this. If I run this, it will come, and in this I can have the, after this I can have the catch also, and in the catch I can have the error and console.log of error. So like this I can have. So this is how the then and catch block. And yeah, async await we don't need, because then and catch block is the alternate for async await. As we've seen here, is we can use the async await also, we can use the then and catch block also. So this is like this. You can use async await also and then and catch block. So most people use the async await because people find this much more cleaner than this thing. So because we have a lot of then here, so we don't use this that much. And it depends on individual preference. You can, if you are finding this code much more easy, you can use this code like then 2 times you can do that thing. Okay, so that is how it will be there. So that is there. And that was a good question. Okay, so the next thing which we are going to do is the one sec. We are okay, anyways I have to open this thing and okay, so we are going to do ES6 now. ES6 is the modern JavaScript, and which it was introduced in 2015, and we had done a lot in ES6 already. Okay, we had done a lot of things in ES6, and one sec, one sec. I think this is in a different browser. And build this in a different browser actually. Yeah. So ES6 was introduced in 2015, and it is the first stepping stone before React, because almost every concept is EN6, ES6 is being used in React. So it is very important to learn this thing. Okay. So ES6 is very important, and ES6 is much more easier concept. And the earlier concept that Async JavaScript also I have taught. The last two things was very important, and thanks to Hassan, I have shown that then also. I just don't generally show that then and all. So I have shown that then also. So that is there, and the last two. So that's why the last two JSBin was the most important. Because if you're getting into the industry, there is no need to know much of Node.js and all those things and all. Okay, so most of the code there was Node.js code. Only the how we use the API call. So that was very important. Okay, so that was there, which was very important. So let us now go ahead and do the our ES6. So ES6 is, as it is there, in the next generation thing, blah blah. Not runs in all browser. It used to not run. So first thing which you are going to do is the let use map instead of for each. Map generally we use in React.js. So map is something we don't use that much in your JavaScript code. We can use map, and we can generally what happens is map. We can directly change that map here also, but we generally use for each only in JavaScript, and map is in React. Map is a must in React with for each, and here for each is much more easier than map. Okay, so that is there. Now we are going to do the. We have started with ES6. So let var and const are there. Let and var we have already seen. So what is the issue with let, and what is the issue with var, and how it was solved with let, we have already seen in JavaScript. So some of the ES6 concept I have already covered. So those concepts I'm not going to tell again. So that is something which I'm going to not tell again. Okay. So const also we have seen, but const something we have not seen, which we are going to see now. Const, we cannot assign a new value to a variable after the initial declaration for primitive type like integer and string, but we can add values for non-primitive types like arrays and objects. So what does that mean? Let us understand what does that mean. Okay, so I'll do a JSBin, and I'll come here in the JavaScript and the console. This time we'll do the JavaScript and the console, and it's the font size to 150. Okay, so here, so what is this const? What is not allowed in the const? So in the const first age equal to 6. So we cannot do something like first age equal to 8. I cannot do something like this, and it will give me error. Okay, it will give me error that it is not allowed. Okay, so this is not allowed. This is allowed in your let and var, it is not allowed here. So let us do something else. So const child ages equal to 5, 6, 8, 10. I'll do this. Okay, so again I want to add one more child age, so I will try to add it like this, and try to add it like this. Okay, so, and actually it will, okay, it is gone. Okay, so I will run it, and it will again give me error because of this. The child ages, it is actually not allowed to do it like this. Okay, so this is not allowed again. But in array there is a one way to do this thing. We can use array method. So okay, I was using 10 only, because even if I use 12, it will not miss it. Actually I wanted to do this thing. I wanted to do this thing, but it is not allowed. So how it is allowed? We can use the array methods here. Array method to push the 12. So I will use the child ages dot push and 12 I'm going to do. So this is very much allowed. This is very much allowed. I'll clear it and run it, and okay, run it. It will nothing will be shown because I don't have any console log. Console.log of child ages is there, and I'll run it, and it will add the 12. So no error was there. So in the constant, you can do these things with the push. In the object, you can go even one step further in the objects. Objects, what you can do, you can add a key value pair, add a new key value pair, or update a key value pair there. Okay, so we'll do that thing. Okay, so const person obj equal to name is window and comma skill is yes. So I'll do this thing. So again, I cannot means directly person object. I can do it like that. Okay, but what I can do like with this, I can do like this person obj dot skill. So skill is JavaScript. So I can update it here directly. Skill is JavaScript and React I can do. And then another thing, person obj, I can add a new also. I can add a new also. Dot profession profession equal to trainer is there. Okay, so then console.log person obj I'll do, and now it run it. So it will show me this object. You all know that that is some bug in JSBin. So see, the name was anyways, it comes in alphabetical order. Name, profession was added, and skill was also updated. So this is what thing we can do with the const we cannot directly update, but in this non-primitive type arrays and objects are known as non-primitive types, you can add like this. So that's why constant are nowadays in JavaScript the most popular thing. Most of the time you don't update something directly, some variables or array. So that's why most people use this only, const only nowadays. Even I use most of the time const only, not even let. So var you should not even touch, because var have a lot of issue and we already solved those issues. Okay, the next thing is the fat arrow function. Okay, so fat arrow function is something which I already seen, so I'm not going to tell again. So fat arrow function we have seen. So next thing we will going to move is the default parameters. So some of these things we have already covered in the JavaScript part. So default parameters. Now default values can be passed in the parameters. So how the default values can be passed in the parameter, we're going to see now. So, and what is it's a very important thing in JavaScript, is default parameters. Okay, so JavaScript console, and this I will come first going to learn about default parameters. So we can use it in arrow function, normal function, any function you can use. So I will have a const is equal. Const is equal to num1 comma num2 I'm going to have, and then I'm going to have this arrow function like this, and this arrow function I'm going to have, and I'm going to do one more thing. I want to see what is there in this thing. Console.log num1 and console.log of num2. I would just want to see what is there, and return num1 equal to num2. I'm just returning it, means I'm comparing this thing, because this will return either true or a false. So now I will pass something here. I will, because it is returning, I have to do a console.log. I have to catch it. So console.log is 𝐏𝐴𝐿 is equal, and I'm going to pass the 10 comma 10. I'm going to pass 10 comma 10. I will run it. It will give me a true, because see, num1 is 10, num2 is 10, and 10 triple equal to 10 I'm going to do, which will send me true, because it is actually equal. So it will send me true, and console log true is been done. So that is been there. JS is not, I'm not doing the output right now. So for this we are going to see the console. So there we did it in a different way. Now we're seeing it in the console part. Okay, so in what we created some HTML there, so that's why we're showing it. Now we are going to see everything in console. Okay, so that is there, and console we can see here also, we can see inspect also, but better to see a bigger console. See, it is very small and it is getting something error and all. It's better to see it here. So that is there. And now JavaScript is mainly programming language, mainly see consoles only. So now the next thing is that if I pass there 10, only 10 I will pass, and I will not pass the next one. I will not pass this thing, 10. In most other programming language, this will fail. Actually, if you have two parameters, you have to pass two parameters. JavaScript doesn't fail. If I clear it and let me comment this out. and let me run it. Okay, it is the old thing actually. Sometimes it happens. Is this JSBin? So see what is happening. Num1 is 10. Num2 we are not passing here. So num2 is undefined, and 10 triple equal to undefined is definitely false. So this is false. So that is not the main thing. But this used to be the case earlier. Okay. So but in ES6 what they did is sometimes you don't pass the second thing. Sometimes you don't pass the second thing. So in those cases, what will happen? What we need to do in those cases, we need to we can have the default parameters. So I have a default parameters 20 here. Okay, default parameters 20 here. Now see what will happen. 10 is there, 10 is gone in the num1, and 20 is gone in the num2 because I have not passed anything here. So the default parameters will be passed. This is a very important also and used a lot in programming. Okay, in JavaScript. So if I don't pass the second parameter, 20 will be taken. But what will happen if I pass the second parameter? Like this, if I pass this thing, so see that 20 is overwritten by this 10. 20 is overwritten by this 10. So this will happen. So this is known as the default parameters. And now the next thing which we are going to do here is the object related extensions and dynamic fit. So object related extension. Now actually there are two different things. In the object literal, we can now have the in the object details we can have the extension for a given object. It's much better to understand with this example. What is this object data extension? Okay, so JSBin, and I will open the JavaScript and console. This will open again, and what we are going to learn? We are going to learn object literals x and sense. Okay, let me also give the attendance. Yeah. Market attendance here. Okay, this market. So yeah. So object data. What are object data extension? Suppose I have a object that obj equal to name suppose I have this object, and I'll do a console log obj. It is a normal object. It is showing like this. Okay, that is there. Suppose I want to do something like this. I want to take this value outside. Take this value outside, and I'll have a let and am be named equal to nothing do. Let age to 9, and then I'll use these variables like this. Named I'll use here, and aged I will use here, and again it is a normal thing. Nothing is there special. So instead of this named and age, what I'm going to do, I'm going to name this variable as name only and age only. I'm doing this intentionally, but it's the same name is like this. Okay, so again I'll come here, and this is name, and this is age. So this key value pair is different, and this value is coming from here. Okay, so that is like this, and again I'll do it will do the same thing. But what is this object data extension? It's a shortcut. If something like this is there, where the key value pair is same, what we can do, and this is a case which happens a lot, or people do it intentionally in the code, so that we can have like this. You can remove this thing. So ES6 is also a lot about the shortcuts. So you can remove this thing and clear it and run it. Now also it will come the same thing. So This is one of the things in ESX which is known as the object literal extension. But besides this, there is another thing which is very very important, which is known as a dynamic dynamic fields. It is very important, dynamic fields. Okay, and we use it at a lot of places. Okay, so I'll do this dynamic fields, dynamic field. And next week on prime time we have React.js. So please do come. 8:30 is our prime time. Beside this, we also have mostly streaming at 2:30 p.m. and sometime streaming at 7 p.m. also. Next week also we're going to have all those streamings. Okay, all the streaming we're going to have. Because I'm trying to have 3 streaming nowadays. Okay, and besides this, you all know we have Saturdays streaming, but this time we'll have a Saturday Sunday streaming. We'll have an awesome 16-hour session to make you a web app developer. Everything will be covered from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. So check out my YouTube channel, and you see that on Saturdays and Sunday we have 2 streams. One, both of them are starting at 9 a.m. IST, and that's a complete 16 hours streaming. 8 hours on Saturdays, 8 hours on Sunday. So attend those 2 things, you will learn everything from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, everything you want to learn. So that is there. So what is this dynamic field? Dynamic field, as I told, it is much more important than this object extension. So I have this let age field equal to age. Okay, so let age field equal to age and I'll have an object. Let dynamic obj. Let dynamic obj. Let me comment out this one, and let me have a space here. Let dynamic obj equal to name is Shikha, and in this age field, I will take this age field in a different kind of a array kind of a thing. Age field, I am going to take an age field. I am going to make it as 29. So what is this thing? Console.log dynamic fields. I am going to take dynamic obj. I am going to take, and I'm going to clear it and run it. See, now the age field was, I'm saying it is a dynamic object for a reason. Now this age field will be at the dynamic time, means in the runtime it will change to age. So we're controlling the key. We're controlling the key from the outside. We control the key at dynamic time, and it is used at a lot of places. Okay, this is a shortcut, but this is a much needed feature. You're going to understand. We're going to go to code. I have some code also regarding this in React.js. Okay, so this is in dynamic, it is coming. So you're controlling it from the outside. The key you're controlling from the outside, and this all are ESX features, and this is very difficult to achieve. Okay, in normal programming and all. So I'll do this thing. Anything I can do here. Okay, and it will be like this. Okay, so this is like this, and again we are going to do this age, and it will run it, and age will come. Okay, so this is there, and done with time, and tomorrow we are going to complete this ES6 and all this JSBins. I will give in the descriptions. This JSBins will be there, so you can get this JSBins and descriptions. And tomorrow is the last day. We are going to complete ES6. If we have got some time, maybe we do some projects, small projects. We are going to do maybe some API call projects only. We can do. Okay, that is a very good thing to do. And and as I've told, please do come and for this weekend thing. If you don't have time, please tell your friend that today boot camp is going on. In that boot camp, I'm going to teach everything from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. Everything will be taught. It is for complete beginners, and that we only have one time in a month. One time in a month we have that thing. So please do come and see that thing for yourself or your friends or anyone in your college. If someone want to do that, do that. And with this, we'll end today's streaming. Tomorrow again we have got all those 3 streamings. Tomorrow is Friday. Okay, so and thank you all.